musician today. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere that I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. No more living in fear, we're gonna let it shine. No more living in fear, we're gonna let it shine. No more living in fear, we're gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let your light shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Now you guys get to sing with me. Let's do some I release. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
All right. Let's all clap for Melissa there. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Melissa. Melissa Lewis, our musician for the day. Hi. Good morning, everyone. And happy, you guys can interact. Good morning, everyone. We're an intimate group, so we're going to have an intimate experience today. And welcome to our Sunday morning celebration as we kick off Pride in Los Angeles. We seem to be right in the heart of it all as it's happening. And our experience has been when we're here in the heartbeat, probably about 25 minutes into it, you'll begin to hear helicopters overhead. So just know that's celebrating what's going on in the world. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and I appreciate and celebrate you for being here on this Sunday morning, coming to the Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles. We are a community that has come together for over 30-something, 31, 32 years now here in the land of Los Angeles with the sole purpose of honoring the individual as you honor yourself on your spiritual journey. Our vision statement is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Today, I invite each and every one of us to tune into that spiritual awakening and whatever it may mean for us on our own personal journey, and to remember that right where you are, God is. I'll talk more about that word God in just a moment. But before we dive into that, so let's say hello to everyone online. I'd like to give us an opportunity today to shake things up for ourselves today and greet each other. Your options are to either throw everybody a high five, or you can do a fist bump if that's more comfortable for you, or a hug, or a handshake, or just simply a hello. But let's greet each other. Let's take a moment and do that. So, I'm hugging, baby. Right. And for those of you who are online, please feel free to do the same for yourself. And know that in the group right now, for those of you watching online, we are indeed saying hi, hello, high-fiving, and fist bumping. And so that we don't have dead air online, we'll continue on. And we can feel the difference in the room, right, when we acknowledge each other. And our whole message today is really going to be about that acknowledgement, both in person and literally energetically through that. As a community, I said before, we've come together for over 30 years to honor everybody, to welcome one and welcome all into our community. Gay Pride, I believe, is an opportunity for us to acknowledge that in a greater way than ever before, to know that we welcome all races, all religions, all countries of origins, all sexual orientations, all genders, all abilities. We literally stand with you, as exemplified by each of you standing up just a moment ago and honoring each other, but metaphorically as well. We honor all of humanity, no matter where you're at on your journey of finding your personal self-empowerment. We've come together, as I've said, for an extended period of time as a community, originally known as the Los Angeles Church of Religious Science. I share that because we teach here primarily the philosophy, faith, and way of life known as religious science, also known as the science of mind. That teaching, this teaching, which in its essence is a core fundamental foundational belief that there's only one power in the universe, that we each individualize that power. Ernest Holmes says that spirit has placed the stamp of individuality upon itself and called it you. For me personally, good morning. For me personally, when I heard that statement, and I've said it many times, it resonates in a wonderful way that I feel like gives me the opportunity to align with my innate nature. Let's hear it again. Spirit has placed the stamp of individuality upon itself and called it you. To me, what that means is that we are exactly who we're supposed to be, just as we are, as mental, emotional, spiritual beings, imbued with the intelligence and the wisdom of the divine itself. We have the capacity within us to make decisions in life that make not only our lives better, but the lives of those around us. We do that primarily by aligning ourselves with this one power, which we're an individualization of, and whose qualities include, but are not limited to, peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. And I believe that if we choose one of those each day and focus on being that, being peace or being power or beauty or joy or light or life or love, that we radiate and emanate that which is our divine nature, our inherent divine nature. And as a result of that change, what's going on around us. And because energy is really all there is, divine energy, that as we release it and emanate it, it ripples out and makes a difference. Evidenced by watching you all just say hello and bring smiles to your faces and high five or hug or whatever the case may be. Why does this matter? Because we live in a universe that is governed by spiritual law. Just like we live in a universe that's governed by physical law, the spiritual law is that the law of life responds to our state of being by providing to us a corresponding state of experience, which brings us to that basic tenet of our teaching, which is, if you want to change your life, change your thinking. I think that's a very simplistic statement for it, but what it really means is, if we want to change our life, we need to change the way that we show up in life. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, energetically, self-identification-wise, to bring the best of ourselves into life and then to honor that in others as well. Once again, our vision statement is supporting individuals on their journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. We like to open our service each and every Sunday morning with a ritual. This ritual is called Calling in the Light. Today I'm going to do this ritual in its most original format, which is actually called the Flames of Faith. I'm going to distill it down to one flame as opposed to lighting 7 candles. But I invite you to listen to the language today and to put it into a visual experience of all of these individuals that are moving towards Sunset and Highland today to celebrate Pride in the land of Los Angeles and to walk the original pathway of the original Pride here in Los Angeles 50-something years ago. And to let's look at these individuals, not just from the perspective of whatever their sexual orientation or gender expression might be, but let's look at it through the lens of them as being the stamp of individuality and who may have a variety of different orientations relative to their spiritual orientation, to their belief systems, their way of believing the divine itself exists. And so as I light this candle today, so will you give us some just guitar music underneath, please, before we get into the song? I'd like for us to bring into our mind's eye individuals that we would like to send love and light to and honor that everyone as well at the Pride festivals today and across the nation and the world potentially are all safe and know that the pathway that each individual on is being honored. This ritual, Calling in the Light, we engage in it to draw into our gathering this morning a more conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities that we possess as complete expressions of the divine. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience. It's that which we honor here today. The candle that I have lit, we do so honoring the Tao, the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, that which is known as the natural way. We also honor the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We do so honoring Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light it honoring Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law, as well as for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion, and all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love, and all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling, and the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and of peace, as well as for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. Let's bring that all into the one light. And let's name it the healing candle. And I ask you to take a moment and think of someone, or more than one, that you'd like to put into this light of the healing flame, which may include yourself, so that all may experience the eternal and everlasting love of the divine. Melissa's going to take us through our song to wrap up this ritual called Calling in the Light. She'll guide you through what parts to sing along with.
Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love, calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love. You can echo me on this. I am love.
I am love.
I am peace.
I am peace.
In my heart. In my heart. I am free.
Free.
I am free.
Free.
I am
Spirit.
I am spirit.
Spirit.
I am soul.
I am soul.
All together.
All together.
We are whole. We are whole. Oh, I am calling in the light. Calling in the light. I'm calling in the light of love. I am calling in the light. Calling in the light, calling in the light of love, calling in the light of love, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. I'd like for us to, I know we called it the healing candle and said silently put into the light someone to feel that. I'd like for us to send energy through the healing light to our pianist that was supposed to be here today with Melissa, Andy Belling, who has just a cold. He's got the sniffles and the snorts and the sneezes, and right? Maybe some coughs as well. But he wanted to be here this morning, even though we've been having conversations for a couple of days to take care of himself. He and Travis live together, and he got up ready to come this morning, and Travis put him back to bed. So we want him to take care of himself. And because we know Melissa can carry the light on her own, girl, can you not? And she has, and she did. So beautiful. So happy to have you here. So Melissa, what is the next song you have for us?
This next song is a Mary Chapin Carpenter song. It's called Why Shouldn't We?
Great, take it away.
We believe in things we cannot see. Why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we? Hands that heal can set a chained man free. Why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we? And we believe there's peace within every heart. Why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we? Burning brightly, brightly in the dark. Why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we? So come on, darling, feel your spirits rise. Come on, children, open up your eyes. God is all around. Buddha's at the gate. All I hear is your prayer. It's not too late. We believe in things that give us hope. Why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we lift up your voice, celebrate your vote? Why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we? And we believe in things that make us all the same. Why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we? Love belongs to all those in need and in aim. Why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we? So come on, darling, feel your spirits rise. Come on, children, open up your eyes. God is all around, Buddha's at the gate. All I hear is your prayer. It's not too late. We believe in things that can't be done. Why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we lift up your heart? Put down that gun. Why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we? So come on, darling, feel your spirits rise. Come on, children, open up your eyes. God is all around, Buddha's at the gate. All I hear is your prayer. It's not too late. Hey, why shouldn't we? Yeah, we believe in things we cannot see. Why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't we?
Whew, mamacita. The lyrics of the "It's time, children, to open up your eyes. God is all around. Buddha's at the gate.
Allah hears your prayer.
Allah hears your prayer.
It's not too late.
It's not too late."
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
It's not only gorgeous, it's actually quite profound. I'm sure you all would agree. It's really a deep instruction to us on how to know ourselves, what to know about ourselves and all other beings of light, and a very simple way to navigate life. I know for myself personally this week, it's been a journey of
Honey, don't get mad.
consciously needing to bring
David's
myself
taking me to
back
breakfast.
to being a child, not in the sense of physiologically, as age or chronologically, but a child meaning that state of mind of the willingness to learn, to see things through a different lens, to remember what is inherently true within me and all beings of light, to not let the circumstances and the chaos and the conditions of what's been transpiring, I'll say for me personally this week, around me and at times felt like towards me, to not let that be the basis or catalyst from how I respond. That I found myself in a moment where a text had come at me from someone that was really, really intense and degrading and disrespectful and unnerving and a lot. And my initial response was to put the gloves on and come back and let's go, baby. You want to go to battle? I'll go to battle with you. Daddy will win, right? That was my initial response. Being a minister, I knew what was important for me was to step away from that and reach out to someone who could coach me. I've learned that in my life. I reached out to another minister, and she knew the scenario and the situation, and she said to me, well, what is your objective here? And let me ask you something. Do you want to engage in this reaction or response as Keith the person or as Keith the minister? And my immediate response to her was, well, aren't they one and the same? And she goes, well, it depends on what the objective is. If your objective is to win, then no, they're not the same. if your objective is to further the conversation, to minister to this individual, to elevate consciousness, then yes, they can be one and the same. And I took that in, my ego had to get in check. And she goes, so you didn't answer the question. Like, what is your objective? And I said, my objective is to do the latter, but I also know I need to step back. And in stepping back, it gave me the opportunity to really process life from a different lens, if you will, to realize that so often when those scenarios or situations show up, what is coming at us in life, because it happens for all of us, I know, is oftentimes based in fear. It's based in a lack of being educated in a topic. It's old ideology. It's approaching life as a reaction as opposed to from an awareness of surrendering to the power within us that will guide us if we but let it. Right? I remember one of my teachers, and probably the longest term teacher I had that many of you know, Dr. David Walker, used to tell us in situations like that, when we are finding ourselves with the inability to be clear on the purpose that we're in, is to not attempt to seek and find the purpose, but to pray in an affirmative way for clarity. To let clarity show up first, and then the purpose will reveal itself. And so the lyrics to this song could not be more apt for my message this morning. And I know that is true for each and every one of us, no matter where we're at on our own personal journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. We're in the second Sunday of the month of June, we all know that, but the second Sunday of the month of our new theme, which is time to grow, glow, and know, as spirit, of course. What I mean by this theme, well, grow, the act of growing in this context, is to evolve, to express, to bear new fruit in our life as a way of being, as a way of showing up, of shifting our, not just our thinking, but our identification as the divine, as our willingness to see things from a new perspective, to, if we're using the map of consciousness from Dr. David Hawkins, to move into a higher vibrational frequency of the consciousness of mind itself. Glow means to then radiate this newness, to allow ourselves to shift our experience in life by how we show up, and then to intentionally radiate, emanate, and express, to illuminate our pathway as a result of the energy that we've brought into this newfound state of mind. Does this make sense? The know part is to tap into that place within us that knows that we know that inherently we are peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom, and that all that's ever taking place is the one power of God making itself known by means of itself. And its qualities too are peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom. Not always an easy task, wouldn't you agree? But a great way for us to do this is to remember our role in allowing Allah and Buddha at the gate to be there for us, is to get our bloated nothingness out of the way. To get that bloated nothingness out of the way and let spirit reveal itself through us. The title for my message today is Namaste is the Way. Good, right? Good. Yo, yo, homie, namaste is the day. It's the way, baby. But let's look at it, because I want to have us begin to open ourselves up to creating a covenant and a commitment and an instruction, a self-instruction, to engage in living from the perspective of namaste. Now, granted, in this modern world that we live in, namaste is not a newfound ideology or approach or practical thing. We hear it all the time. If we take yoga, you hear it in yoga classes, you see it on social media sites, you see it on bumper stickers, and it goes on and on and on. But I want us to break it down today in a way that is both practical and applicable in our lives so that we can create this consciousness of namaste is the way and why. Many of you have seen our services online on Sunday mornings, and we're online right now, but oftentimes it's got multimedia graphics that go along with it. And there's one graphic in particular that I really love when we move into the act of namaste, because I ask us all to say hello to each other online in that manner. Obviously, we can't do it in person when we're online that way. But if you recall, the graphic that shows up on the screen is this beautiful small woman, it appears, in this beautiful blue and gold sari. And she puts her hands in prayer position just above her heart. And you see her begin to open up energetically. And as she opens up energetically, these light of gold and energy comes down from the sky and surrounds and immerses itself in her being. And as she receives this energy, she then bends forward and opens her palms, and the golden energy light moves from her out. It's a beautiful, beautiful example of really what we believe is taking place when we choose to give of the energy of namaste, allowing the light of the divine to enter our being and then give it. It's really what we're called to do in life, is to give our light. We call it in and give it. The Mary Chapin Carpenter song that Melissa sang so beautifully really is, that's what in essence what it's telling us to do, is to allow the light of the divine to make itself known within us and then to pass it on. And then to receive it back, because we live in a universe of corresponding energy. Namaste. We all are familiar with the word. It's derived from Sanskrit, which is an ancient European language that was used between the era of 1300 and 1600 BC. It's the combination of two words from that language, nama, which means to bow or bend. It's a reverential salutation or adoration. And ste means to you. Therefore, namaste literally means I bow to you. Something in the Western world that is probably not looked at with great respect or reverence or beauty, because it's more than likely perceived to be an act of supplication. But yet when we understand who and what we are as divine beings and the interconnectedness of all of us, it's not an act of supplication, it's an act of acknowledgement. It's an act of bearing witness to that which exists. It's literally steeped in the belief that this gesture of namaste is done so because there is a divine spark within each and every one of us. In the Eastern philosophy, it's often believed that that divine spark is held in our heart chakra. The gesture itself is an acknowledgement of the soul or the light that's in every one of us. Melissa began the service today by singing, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine." Imagine that if you were walking down the road, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine." Now, if we were to engage in life in that way, we would feel and know inherently, as well as intellectually, the golden light coming through us and moving on. Imagine if, just in the Pride celebration up the way, which I said I think is going to have 500,000. Robert told me they said 50,000. Let's split the difference. Let's say it's 282,516 people, right? What if just 10% of them were moving along the parade route, or in the audience, in the crowds, shining their light in that way? You think it's possible we could feel that down here at 1200 North La Brea Avenue? The answer is yes, we could feel it, because the divine spark that exists within each and every one of us is not bound by geography. It's not bound by time. It's not bound by sexual orientation. It's not bound by ideology. It's not bound by people that think transgendered people should not exist. It's not bound. It's boundless. And it exists within every one of us. And we're taught in our teaching that this light, this soul, is really the reflection of the oneness that is in all. It's been taught by the Gnostics, and it's taught in Sufism and Buddhism and Kabbalah, and it goes on and on and on. It's the basic core principle of these philosophies, these faiths that I spoke of earlier. In our teaching, we refer to it as God, an impersonal, omnipresent, infinite energy that is all creative and boundless by nature, also known as the thing itself, which is giving life to you and giving life to me. It is life itself. It's important for us to consciously desire in our life to live as Namaste, being the way, because it literally has a deep spiritual significance. It recognizes the belief that the life force, the divinity, the self, or the God in me is the same in all. And I know I've said that various different ways today, and I'm going to continue because I want us to begin to hear it differently. I stood at the door earlier this morning awaiting the presence of you all and watching beautiful individuals unload their car to go up the street to Pride. And there were these beautiful little families that were putting little hats on their head and sunscreen on, and they had cute little outfits on, and it's really cute. One of the little strollers had a placard on the front that said, "We got my outfit at Target," right? So it's like, it's the voice of the divine speaking for all of these little individuals that are going to express their stamp of individuality. It's the thing that exists in all of us. It's important for us to acknowledge this oneness and the equality that exists, and the way to do that in a way that is, I believe, universally understood is Namaste. This physical gesture is sometimes accompanied by names such as Ram Ram or Jai Shri Krishna or Namo Narayana or Jai Siya Ram. It's also used oftentimes with the statement Om, or the chant Om Shanti, which means I'm engaging in the peace within. Namaste. My soul recognizes your soul. I honor the love, the light, the beauty, the truth, and the kindness within you, because it's also within me. Take a moment right now and feel the presence in the room and feel the kindness that exists in the room, right? That exists because it's in each and every one of us. As we share these things, there's no distance and no difference between us. We're the same. We are one. It's being addressed in different languaging today, and this was actually on the strollers that were headed up the street, that love is love, is love, is love, is love. Are we each willing to hear that differently today? To engage in expressing it differently? To be it differently? Recently, a friend of mine wrote this article, and I'm going to read a portion of it with you, and it says, "Everything begins in God." When all the great religions of the world say, "In the beginning, God," they're saying there has never been anything else but God from which to create. All that is or ever will be must come from this one source. So mathematically, 1 plus 0, because there's nothing to add to it, equals 1. In other words, all there is God. This morning, it's my goal and my invitation to inspire each of us to choose to live our life through this conscious practice of metaphorically or literally bowing to the life, the divine spark, or the God in all before us. To be willing to have a shift in our consciousness. To be willing to create a new awareness. To be willing to develop a greater sense of who we are as divine beings, and to really find out where and in whom God really exists. As an old school, long-term metaphysician, and I know some of you in here as well are, we get this ideology of the power itself, a definition of God, and we hang on to it. And we're pretty damn sure that's what it means the rest of our life. I say throw that away. Open up to allowing yourselves to define and redefine the power itself. It's through having that intimate experience of God and where it exists that we are creating opportunity in our consciousness to grow, to glow, and to know. I'm going to share a story with you. Some of you may have heard it before. A couple had two little boys, ages 8 and 10, who were excessively mischievous. Can't imagine that. The two were always getting into trouble, and their parents could be assured that if any mischief occurred in their town, these two young boys were in some way involved. Their parents were at their wits' end as to what to do about their son's behavior. The mother had heard that a clergyman in town had been successful in disciplining children in the past, so she asked her husband if he thought they should send the boys to speak to the clergyman. The husband said, well, we might as well. We need to do something before I really lose my temper. The clergyman agreed to speak with the boys, but asked to see them individually. The 8-year-old went in first to meet with the clergyman. The clergyman sat the boy down and asked him sternly, where is God? The boy made no response, so the clergyman repeated the question in an even sterner tone. Where is God? Again, the boy made no attempt to answer, so the clergyman raised his voice even more and shook his finger in the boy's face. Where is God? At that moment, the boy bolted from the room, ran directly home, slamming himself in the closet. His older brother followed him into the closet and asked him what happened. The younger boy replied with sweat beating off his brow, oh my God, we're in big trouble. God's missing and they think we did it. If you believed that someone thought you had taken God away, you would re-examine your belief in the power, would you not? It's a funny little story to stimulate each of us to begin to think anew as to the power itself. And to also re-examine any old stories that we have within us of how we related to the power as children, as young adults, as to events in our life that may have caused us to disconnect from our conscious relationship with the power in a healthy way. But it's important for us to remember, if we're willing to change our thinking, we have the ability then to change our thinking in regards to the past. Today's the day that we can forever grow, glow, and know about the divine in a new way. To learn how to think as an expression of the divine in a new way. To remember that in our philosophy, faith, and way of life, we like to support individuals not only finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, but to remember that all things are possible within the realm of possibility. What's on your heart and on your mind today that you would like to co-create in your life in a way that you may have previously thought impossible? Or where in your life would you like to tune into the frequency of the divine in a way that is not enslaved or belabored by an old ideology that's thinking that the power itself is sitting in a chair in the sky, potentially giving you or taking away your good? You have the ability to imagine, to co-create, to draw into your field of experience, as we all do, the very things that we desire. Because it's an infinite, impersonal, corresponding power. In the book 365 by Ernest Holmes, it addresses it in this way. To think is to create. With God, all things are possible. That's from Matthew, the Bible, 1926, not the year, chapter and verse. Here, this is written, the final creativeness of the universe is a movement of intelligence within and upon itself. This intelligence, I want you to hear this, this intelligence already exists at the center of our own being. It really is our own being. And the very power of imagination that we exercise is this intelligence functioning at the level of our comprehension of it. It's telling us that as we use our imagination to tap into what is possible, is that we're actually using the thing itself at the level of how we're willing to let it express in our life. He goes on to write, the mind within us is the mind of God. Since our mind is some part of the mind of God, there is a place within us where we are universal, where we use universal power. To affirm the presence of good in our life is to use the power within us for the creation of the good that we affirm. We have the possibility within us. For the mind with us is God. We must accept our freedom, announce our liberty, and proclaim our divine birthright. Whatever we believe to be true about the power, God, we must declare that to be true about ourselves. We must know that the power is within us, which is God, establishing right action in our life. And in this way, we gain dominion of our own mind and then exercise authority. Who would like to exercise greater authority over your life today? I'm sure we all would. The way to do that, from my instruction and invitation for us today, is to commit for today and tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next, to the best of our ability, to let Namaste be the way. To live from this place of honoring, to receive and accept the light that is within us. Holmes is telling us we don't have to bring it in like the little lady in the slideshow did. That's a great example for us because visually we can relate to that. But to know that it's also already within us. I like to look at it as if we're opening up to let it in from here. It's also coming up from here. And then it meets and kind of explodes out of our mouth, right? So as we walk through life and it comes up and we go, Namaste is the way, Namaste is the way, Namaste is the way. Cute little funny way of acknowledging our letting our divinity out. And then if we back that up by using our imagination to create in our mind, to visualize the life that we desire to have, one where we have authority, not meaning control, authority meaning being in tune with how we use our power, then life indeed will be better and better and better and better, meaning that it brings us greater peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. The great Mahatma Gandhi says this in regards to Namaste. He says, Namaste means, I honor the place within you where the entire universe resides. I honor the place within you of light, of truth, of peace. I honor the place within you where when you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, there truly is only one of us. Today is the day that we get to transform our world if we say yes to it. Well, where do we start? We start by transforming our internal state. We start by letting go of negative self-judgment and replace it with affirming and loving thoughts about ourselves. Today is the day that we get to be kinder to ourselves, more loving to ourselves, and to tune in to the holy light that is within and everywhere. It's universal. Today is the day that we get to know that should we let our light shine in a greater way, that we are propagating in an act of being loving, of being seen, of being safe, of being needed, of expressing our uniqueness. Nelson Mandela tells us that a good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination. Today, let's you and I begin to use the power of the divine within us in a new way to engage in and make that change. To live from love, the self-givingness of spirit, while imagining life itself around us as changing. I love the lyrics of this song by Daniel Nabod that's called One Power. And I'd like to read it to us today to gain a new perspective on the power itself that we call God. And that is the power that is the light within us. That is the power that we honor through the act of namaste. The lyrics are, there's one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord. Call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angel's wings, or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power. Can't you see? It's the power of love in you and in me. We speak so many languages, have different clothing, different colors, different names, but different is only dangerous when we forget that in the heart we're all the same. We'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, call it Baha'u'llah, Hashem, or heaven's door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, it's your sign, it's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth, or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. It's the power of love in you and in me. It's the moment of creation, it's everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration, it's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations, it's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon, for it's love most deep. It's one power. It's the power of the love that lives forever in you and in me. It's the power of the love in you and in me. I believe we're each called today to give that power through the act of namaste in a new way, and to remember that we've said yes simply by being here today, to begin to live our life in a new way so that we grow and we glow and we know that we are indeed that one power. Namaste. Melissa's coming back to sing us another song. And the title of this one, Melissa, is Breathe in Life.
Sometimes the things we think we want, well, they just aren't meant to be. It's starting to come together, it's finally making sense. Things happen for a reason, there's nothing left to chance. I wanna breathe in this life, let it all go, relax, learn to just be. I wanna take it all in, give up control, surrender to what's meant to be. Breathe in this life. Hey, well, the tighter we hold and the harder we try to figure it out, to understand why, the more time we lose and the more we miss out on what's most important, what life is all about. So go on, breathe in your life, let it all go, relax, learn to just be here. Take it all in, give up control, surrender to what's meant to be. Yeah. Breathe in your life. Patience is a must, have a little faith and learn to trust. Open your eyes, you'll see. You can't fall far, 'cause right where you are, it's exactly where you need to be. Breathe in your life, let it all go. Relax, learn to just be. Take it all in, give up control, surrender to what's meant to be. Yeah, breathe in your life. Breathe in your life. Just surrender to what's meant to be. Yeah. Breathe in your life. Yeah.
Love it.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
There's quite a theme today, isn't there? Of breathing, of energy, of life, of different names for the divine. I do too. I think it's really important for us to keep reframing it, right? To keep reframing it. I want to thank you all for being here today. Glad you're all here, both online and in person, and I hope that you are going to have a fabulous, happy Pride, whatever that means to you. There's an article that's going on our newsletter tomorrow that is a beautiful article written by Lori Jean, the former CEO of the LA Gay and Lesbian Center, that chronicles how Pride came to be, and in Los Angeles primarily, and how the acronym Pride literally came to be. And so I'm going to let you read it tomorrow, and that way you'll know that, as opposed to telling you now. So if you're not getting that newsletter, you can sign up for it on our website, csl-la.org, and there you can find out information about all other stuff that we have. Just want to remind you that on Wednesday morning, midweek morning meditation online, I lead a guided meditation. That's a 20-minute max meditation that helps us reconnect to that. You can also have access to past meditations, both on our Facebook page and on our, Robert's going to tell me because I keep forgetting, Facebook page and website? No. Facebook page, sorry. Our app will be relaunched this week. Sorry it's been down, but the universe did its thing and took it. That's the only way I know how to describe it. Not quite like that, but kind of like that. But as we all know that in life, when stuff shows up, when shift happens, we have the opportunity to, right? When shift happens, we have the opportunity to redesign, if you will, what's going on in our life. And we've redesigned a fabulous new app. Fabulous! It's a fabulous new app, but it is because it's so user-friendly, unlike the last one. So know that when it launches, please sign up for it if you're not already signed up for it. It's really intuitive. It's really simple. You just tap, tap, tap away and get what you need. So know that that is there. The New Thought text for the day goes out every morning at 7:30. It's a 320 max space message to start your day at 7:30 a.m. Also can sign up for that on our website. And our next service is July the 9th, July 9th. So that's where we're at. I'd like to say thank you to Melissa for being here today, sharing your light, as I love it, love it, love it, love it. Love me some Melissa Lewis. We have a long history, don't we? A long history. Travis Smith for being our audio technician and doing great work there. Travis, thank you. Robert Hensley, our administrative assistant, as well as social media guru back there. Big thank you, yes. Big thank you once again to all of you. And a big thank you to Hugo, who sets the room up, and we'll have snacks for you outside and coffee should you desire to take that in. And Scott, who takes care of us when he walks in, and our gentleman at the our security guard as well. So thanks the whole team that works to put this together. I'm going to give you the opportunity to support our community financially right now. He has a bag to pass by if anybody would like to do that in cash or check. You also have the opportunity to support us electronically. You can go to our website, CSL-LA.org, and click on Donate. Know that we greatly appreciate any and all support financially. It helps us to continue doing what we do, as well as we are a tithing community. So 10% of everything that comes in goes back out to make a difference in our planet. So know that that's appreciated. As Robert does that, Melissa's going to take us through our conscious giving song called Love Is My Decision, and take it away.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision, and no one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, Source will show me how. Love is my decision, right here, right now. My decision, right here, right now.
Thank you so much. Reminder once again, there are snacks outside for you. Please feel free to avail yourself of those. Also, when you're leaving the building, if you're traveling by motorized transportation, my suggestion is to go south. You don't want to head north, because the streets will all be blocked off as the Pride Parade is happening right now in the festival there. So know that that's the case. Would you be so kind to just give me a little tinkle on the guitar underneath, on the guitar, as I close us out in prayer? I'm going to close us out in an affirmative prayer, also known as spiritual mind treatment, and maybe with a little hand of meditation in there. So I invite you to close your eyes, if that feels comfortable for you. Once again, an acknowledgement and appreciation to all of those that have joined us online today. Know that you are the perfection of the divine, fully expressed as you are, each and every one of you. We began our service today not only high-fiving, hello, and hugging each other, but also by moving into the ritual of calling in the light. I lit this candle to exemplify the light that exists in all. As I extinguish this candle, I do so that you may imagine it entering your being. And it symbolizes the one light of life that exists in, as, and all beings. This light that exists within each one of us right now is saying, use me, baby. Shine me unto the world. And so we let it be the guide within us to move forward step by step, thought by thought, action by action, reaction by reaction, and interaction by interaction with the thing itself, life. And we heed the call to live life in a state of namaste, honoring, celebrating, acknowledging, bearing witness to the light that exists in all. It is indeed good. Shift happens in life. We roll with it. We treasure the opportunity to redefine the power for ourselves in a way that is empowering, which moves us then into a state of a spiritual awakening, remembering that this awakening is just the remembrance that we are one in the sea of infinite consciousness. So we say yes, as we know the universe responds in light. All is well. And so it is. Namaste. Thank you. Peace and blessings. Have a fabulous day.
Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand, put a little love in your heart. You see it's getting late, oh please don't hesitate, put a little love in your heart. And the world will be a better place, yes, this world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. Another day goes by and still the children cry. Put a little love in your heart. If you want the world to know, we won't let hatred grow. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. Yeah, this world will be a better place for you.